It's my privilege as Chairman Training Committee to welcome office bearers, Board of Directors, chairpersons of various committees, regional chairmen, and distinguished guests. As promised earlier, today we are having a special session. We have one of the greatest leaders present with us, and dear friends, today all of us are going through very tough times, and it's proven fact that when we go through tough times, we naturally turn to our leaders. While it doesn't directly solve our issues, but definitely it gives us courage to push back and fight. Looking at the current scenario, we have called upon our leader. I cannot actually invite him as inviting the founder himself on this platform is by no means appropriate. Conceived the idea of IRP back in mid 90s, and today we can see all the strength, togetherness, and bonding in IRP as a family. Words shortfall while describing the great leader, and in the amusement industry, it could be said, very well said, I'll say. अशोक जी होते हैं, लाइन वहीं से शुरू होती है. May I request Ashok ji, founder member IIP and chairman SL, to share his thoughts and boost the morale of the industry. Uh, Over to Ashok ji, please.
Thank you, Anuj. Thank you, Anuj ji. Good afternoon or good evening, shall I say, ladies and gentlemen. As always, you guys are too generous when it comes to me. On the other hand, the subject given by Anuj is really tough in today's time and environment. So I'm not really sure whether I can motivate the industry or the industry leaders, given the uncertainties of the of the current situation, and the fact that I have to cover this thing in 5 minutes. So I don't know how much really will I be able to cover. So let's first get a head around the situation really that exists today, not just in India but globally, due to the COVID-19 situation. The reality is that nobody, in fact, really knows which way this pandemic is going to pan out and how is it going to, or first, when is it going to go away, which is unlikely. Second, there are lots of hope on vaccine, which to my mind is still a too optimistic expectations that the world has that the vaccine might come in next 6 months or so, which I have my doubt listening to various medical experts. But even if we got some treatment for it, vaccine, according to me, is still, with everything going fine, is still at least 12 months away, if not 18. There are various laboratories, countries are working on it, but not before 12 months or 18 months it can really come if everything goes well. Now let's talk about the treatment. Even the treatment is not really there on the horizon as yet. So in absence of a treatment or a vaccine, I don't know really which way. Then there is a thought that the herd immunity has to be emerging. For herd immunity or for the community level immunity to emerge, again, there are no clear views of the scientific community. as to what percentage of population needs to first get infected, so that there is a community level or country level immunity that gets developed. My sense is of the countries or any specific country's population, the infection has to come in more than 50% of the population, so that the antibodies gets made in the human bodies. And given the fact that that about the highest numbers of mortality is about 3.5%. So balance 96.5%, 97% of people will survive. So therefore, in absence of a vaccine or a treatment, and for so much of population to get infected to develop immunity, it brings in even more uncertainty in terms of lockdown 1, lockdown 2, lockdown 3. Even if the economy is open now, when will be the time again when the infection rate will increase exponentially? Then there'll be a next barrage of lockdowns, etc., that will emerge. So that's the real situation that comes. And therefore, not just the amusement industry, but the whole of the global economy is under real pressure and threat. But it's not all gloom and doom. Every adversity offers opportunities. We have seen, I don't know how many of you remember the Asian meltdown. That I think was somewhere in 2003 or 4. I'm not sure of the year. No, in the 90s actually. Then came 2008, the global economic meltdown. We all thought the world is going to come to a halt, but it bounced back. And now COVID, of course, it's much different than the previous challenges that the world faced after the World War or even before that on Spanish flu, where I think 1/3 of the global population got wiped out. Fortunately, this time it's not that bad. It's highly infectious, but not dangerous, given the mortality rates. So let's take some examples which are there, which you might have already come across. Is when the economic meltdown happened. I'm trying to pick the closest business to our industry. Is, let's say, Domino's Pizza. When even before 2008, their business was dwindling. When the economic meltdown happened, their business dropped quite significantly, about 11 or 14%. And then the new CEO came, and what did he do? He said, "I'm not actually in pizza business at all." So this goes behind the philosophy which all of us know, is that every challenge is an opportunity. It's up to us how do we identify the opportunity among the challenges, and we do things in different ways. So what did this new CEO, Patrick Doyle, who took over the command in 2010? So he said, "I'm not into a pizza business." He said, "I'm into pizza delivery business." Now, the moment he add the word delivery to the pizza business, the whole paradigm shift changed for him. And then and very quickly, therefore, he grew the business world over. He captured the market in 80 countries, and his share price jumped from about $9 per share to $160 per share by 2016. So that's one stark example that one can give um, on how adversity was converted into an opportunity. There can be many more examples. The Hyundai car, which entered into US, they started offering along with the car the insurance also, or the assurance. Or there was another company in apparel which was Patagonia, which specializes in the gears which are rugged for mountaineering and for camping and for snow, that kind of gear. And when they were suffering their business in the economic meltdown, they said that I'm going to the CEO of the company. The company decided that that if there was any fault or any this thing in his product, the consumer could get it repaired free of cost to their satisfaction, or they wanted to return, they could return. And that's how between 2008 and 2012, Patagonia doubled their revenue and profits. Now, these are few examples, uh, but then still it comes to our business, which is where I'm at a because the situation is so fluid, you don't really know what is really going to happen and how the things are going to pan out for the pandemic itself, and therefore the impact on our industry. But what I can certainly see is that the people are not going to be traveling too much. That is for certain. There'll be less and less international travel. There could be domestic travel, but still to a lesser extent. And therefore, and people have already become so cocooned, staying locked down for so long, they would be rushing out to have some fun, which they could perceive as a safe fun or domestic travel, or even more than domestic travel, the local travel. And therefore, our industry being open air, and I'm talking about amusement parks right now, we could actually get benefited because of the international travel restriction, come less preference of people going out, and and um, the fact that people will be scared for next round of close down or shut down, or third round of. I'm not saying in the Indian scenario. I'm saying as the herd immunity had to be developed, there will be oscillating rates of infection, and that would necessitate governments to bring in additional lockdowns and opening and lockdown and opening. And given our scenario, given our population density, we may be up for a long haul. We are not China, who can lock down everything, who can control everything, who can control even the information. Um, they can force Disney to open just to send a message out to the world that you open it up so that people know that China is open and therefore there's nothing major to worry. And immediately after that, you've seen that there are, I think, at least one or two more cities which have come under lockdown. So we can't be a China where things can be hazy, unclear, and therefore we don't really know the real situation. So I think, but at the same time, we will have to find alternative ways as industry to do business. Something has to be improved. Our cost structures have to be improved. Our way of thinking have to be improved. How can we, to my mind, our biggest cost, the single most highest cost is people. Now there have to be some automation. I don't know whether we can afford to have capital expenditure, not afford to have capital expenditure. All that is so our challenges, and therefore there lies the opportunities. So every challenge that you identify offers an opportunity to do things differently. Given the fact that our industry is spread over large acreage of land, and therefore to reach out to those facilities from the central, let's say, workshop for repair or maintenance, there's a whole lot of people moving around on the, लंगड़ी ट्रॉली को खींच के उसके ऊपर स्पेयर पार्ट लेके, damaging the paved places and all that, and that requires additional maintenance and all that. All that need to be looked at, and we need to see how really we can exploit the opportunities. Paresh Mishra, when he came on his talk with the industry, I think he has given some examples of what SLWorld is doing. Similarly, there could be many other examples. All of us are smart people. We know our business, we know our situation, and therefore I'm sure we can identify the other opportunities. Now, given the fact that I've spoken for more than 5 minutes, and I want to stop here by saying that don't let your thoughts to paralyze you, in the sense that everything is bad. Yes, it is bad. It is bad for everybody. So don't let that thought paralyze your actions, your thinking. Keep that aside for a moment and start to think as to how can I do different in my business, and start acting upon them, is what I would say. Then I'm happy to answer questions.
Thank you very much, Ashokji. It was wonderful having such nice talk from you. I'll probably take in few questions. The first question, I'll take the privilege of having it from myself. The question is to you. We sitting at home, we normally are suggested for 8 hours of 3 sessions, like 8 hours of working, 8 hours of sleeping, and 8 hours of work. How do you, as Ashokji, how do you manage with the 3-8?
As I said jokingly earlier, which I would say now formally, that I may be a bad example of or dividing my time. No, on a serious note, my way of working is that I empower my team, my people, and they do the heavy lifting. And so therefore I am the person who works the least, and my people works the hardest. Therefore I have much more flexibility in my time than you would imagine. But given the this thing, generally logically thinking, yes, we need to have 6 to 8 hours of sleep. Younger you are, then you go more towards 8 hours. More experienced you get, you tend to go down from 8 down up to 6. Anybody taking sleep less than 6 hours is inviting for trouble. So therefore that's very important. As long as I enjoy what I'm doing, it doesn't really matter whether it's 8 hours or 12 hours or 11 hours. My sense is that if we work seriously, diligently, then if we have worked 8 hours, it's actually enough. You don't really need to work more than 8 hours. But in between, if I've done masti also, I worked also, वो घर पे बोलेगा यार मैं काम कर रहा था, busy था, वो एक अलग story.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, Ashokji. I'll take in the next question. The question is from Mr. Ajay Abhishek. Mr. Ashokji, how do you see the FAC and theme park in India, which was growing on a rapidly in the past few years, same growth would be able to see in 2021 or not?
FPC, I assume you are talking about Family Entertainment Center. Is it?
Yeah, IAC we call it now.
Yeah. I think under the current situation, my personal belief is that that FPCs will be the last one to get opened along with, let's say, malls. Most of the FPCs are in the malls anyways. Simply because it's an air-conditioned environment, and the infection is believed to spread faster in a closed environment. And therefore, they would probably be the last one along with water parks. Right or wrong, I don't know. But given the fact the way our bureaucracy works, even water parks probably will get be the last ones to get permission to open. That's my sense. But I think FPC as a inherent business structure that we are, in fact, all of our sectors, you take amusement parks, you take water parks, you take FPCs, the renewals are very important, or the novelty values are important. As long as we are able to take care of that, but FPCs are at an advantage right now, because right now, meaning not given the situation, generally speaking, assuming the pandemic wasn't there, it's the you are actually providing an avenue to the guilty parents. Guilty parents meaning because they are busy with their lives, at least they have been busy, and when things get normal, they will also get busy again. That's the assumption. For 5 days, parents are not able to take care of their kids. It's the 6th or the 7th day they want to do something, and they want to go to the closest place where they can put their child or children. And that's when the guilt spirit of the parents will drive the FPC's business much more. And therefore, it has, according to me, and the same thing is not just the big cities, it's small cities also is the same situation. Therefore, FPCs are there to stay, keeping the novelty value factor in mind.
Thank you for Ashokji on giving in a message to IAC people. I'll take in the next message. That's from Mr. Ashwin Dange. Dear Ashokji, how do we motivate our customers to come back at the end of all of this?
Because before you motivate your customers, you have to motivate your people. And it's not easy given the circumstances. Many of us, I don't know what industry has done. Many of us would have reduced the manpower. Many of us would have reduced the salaries of people. And therefore, first is our workforce motivated is something that we will have to see. We also have to assure our customers, consumers, or the guest, whatever language you want to use, is that we are a safe place, that you are operating a safe facility in terms of health and hygiene, because that is going to weigh very heavily on the minds of people. And I believe it has to be communicated as such. And my recommendation would be that you under promise, over deliver, rather than over promise and under deliver. People will see it through very quickly, and things can change. So that will be the first and foremost way of convincing our customers that we are operating a safe facility, and they have to be able to see that physically. And yet, the biggest challenge for our industry will be to maintain social distance. And that's going to be a killer because our capacity immediately gets reduced at least to 50%, if not more. And will that, and then will we therefore stop selling the tickets at the gate if we have achieved the numbers? Now, the first challenge before the industry is how do you calculate your capacity of the park? Is there a scientific way? Is there a mathematical way to calculate? I'm sure there is. But are we all aware of it? Can we put our head around that first and then say, I'm going to take 50% of that and I'm going to close my tickets sale that time once we have that many people at any given point in time? Those are going to be few of the challenges that we will have to see and find answers, and therefore be able to communicate to the guests that we are safe and in all respects.
I think Ashwinji, Ashokji has been able to give a very great answer on this, and this answer would matter to everybody who is there in the industry, whether it be IIC, amusement park, or water park. So the answer is very clear. The next question I'll take is from our chairman, Mr. Ajay Sareen. Many park depends on these 3 months season in a year, especially the parks in North we're talking about. What's your suggestion for such park people to do in now?
Say it again, sir. Sorry, I missed it.
The question is, many park in northern India depends upon 3 months of seasonal business. What's your suggestion for such parks to do now, where they've lost in the business now?
It's not just North India; it's all over the country. Actually, globally, we get about, if you're lucky in any year, you get not more than 120 days of business in any case, which is about 4 months. So, and it varies depending on the season and everything. So from 90 to 120 days. So therefore, it's not unique to North India, I believe. And if your question was that you have lost on to the peak time of your business, and given the fact by the time people start to come in, it will be the season will be over and monsoon will set in. I assume monsoon in North is about what, July, I guess.
July, August.
Yeah, so it's a tough one, and therefore I would not be in a hurry. If you have lost out on the season, I will not be in a hurry to open the park.
Okay. So next question,
I will use this time to prepare myself for the next season in terms of whatever repair, maintenance I need to do. I need to prepare for all hygiene standards, all infrastructure, hardware, etc., etc. That I'll spend time on.
Okay, I think that answers well. So next question I'll take is Mr. Utkarsh Kethana. Ashokji, how to stay profitability with the 30% capacity and more safety secure resources, sir?
I wish I had the answer. I would have done that myself. That's so the challenge before all of us, actually. I don't know how did he reach to the capacity of 30%. Is it a season that we're talking about? Is it because of the social distancing that we need to have? So I don't know if it is 30%. It is 30% depending on the size of your facility.
I think probably 30% figure has come out because of Disney opening up in Chigai, and they're saying that they have opened up with 30% capacity. So I think the figure has come in from there.
Yeah. So anyway, I said 50. It could be 30. I don't know. That's why I said, because first we have to figure out how do we calculate our capacity, and therein lies this number, whether it is 30% or 50% or less or more. There's no easy answer to that, and therefore the point of doing things differently comes, and And this I will put in the bucket of a challenge, and therefore opposite of it is the opportunity.
So probably we'll seek advice from you, Ashokji. Probably before the lockdown again, we'll request you to have a session with us for a few minutes, and then probably we'll ask you the question again. Same question we'll ask you again at that time.
Yeah, we'll see that. Yeah, sure.
Ashokji, we have lot many questions, but I think I have already taken more time of yours than promised or the requested time. I'll just take, if you allow me, to take in two live questions from two different guests.
I'm not under time pressure, Anuj. So you decide what.
So I'll just take two or three live questions. May I request the host to unmute Mr. Ajay Kant Rohia to ask in a live question to Ashokji. Unmute Ajay Kant Rohia ji.
Yes. Hi, Ashokji. Do you think it's feasible?
Ajay ji, your voice is not proper.
Okay, 1 second.
Please reduce your volume, speaker volume.
Speaker volume. Okay. Ashokji, is this better now?
No, there's still humming coming up.
Okay, come back to me.
You can just extend your question. I'll probably ask him over there. So I'll go to Mr. Srinath K. Could you please unmute Mr. Srinath, please?
Hi, sir.
Yeah, Mr. Srinath, please ask him your question.
Yeah, actually, this main season or peak season, what we say in the shopping malls, no? So it has been lost for this year. And I saw that some survey saying up only the malls will be performing on the 4% of the footfall post lockdown for some few months. So obviously the FECs what are operating in the shopping malls, no? So they will be working with their working capital for the next few months, paying their rent, camp, salary, expense, and everything. And most of the companies they used to pay the salary during the lockdown period also, maybe in terms of something basic pay or some salary cut, something like that. So once the shopping mall has been open and it is entirely liable that people has to pay the rent, cam and all the charges. There are some malls they are asking for the rent and cam charges during the lockdown also, and some malls they are waived off on their humanity ground. So I want to ask Ashokji how he's seeing in his perception and what would be the, because it would be a huge loss for the people and FEC in a shopping malls who is having a multiple branches. So it would be very troublesome.
Yeah, Srinath ji,
Yes, sir.
you have to find ways to negotiate with your landlords. You have no choice but to do that. Not only for the past period, but also when they open, you will have to put across your point of view to them that depending on the footfalls, you will keep increasing or reducing the rent that you can pay. And I'm sure most mall owners would understand that, and it is in their interest that they have you as a facility, because that helps them to bring in more footfalls. So it's kind of complementary to each other, and therefore it should be easy to negotiate in a nicer way, not in a confrontational way. That's what I would suggest. And in the FEC, the salary, etc., you will have to, I don't know, that's a tough one. I mean, this is against my personal beliefs of sacking people, because this is the time we need to support the people. So for example, we in SL World, Water Kingdom, all our facilities, we have not asked anybody to go so far. And so that's a tough one. If the economy opens up, if people have opportunity to find alternative jobs, then that's the time we should try and help our people who have been with us for so long in the thick and thin of time. And sorry, this is my personal view. Huh? I mean, it again depends on your own personal beliefs also. is that we don't leave people high and dry. But there again, you can talk to them, you can explain your situation, and you can find creative ways to, if you can't reduce your current outflow, I'm saying outflow. So there is a difference between cash flow and the liabilities. So if you can maintain, I mean, at the cost of outflow of cash, if you can reduce your future liability, that's a smart way to help your own people and reduce your liabilities also. And there are multiple ways to do that. You can be creative there also. That's what I would say to you.
Thank you, Ashokji. I'll read in the question from Mr. Ajay Kant Ruiya again. He has multiple questions. So one of the questions I'll ask him. Certain popular park overseas got fully booked when advanced booking plans were opened up. Do you see the same happening in India?
I'm not sure of that statement. That statement, according to me, is not true, except for Disney Shanghai or some parks in China. And I had already said that China is an exception. You can never be sure of what is happening. But you take example, I was reading the Wall Street Journal or something yesterday. Look at the whole of Orlando. Orlando is the father and grandfather of the amusement industry. They have $75 billion of economy per year. They have 75 million visitors per year, and that whole of that economy is down in dumps. Nobody knows when they will open. And given the fact that it is Trump who's against the lockdown, and because his elections are coming up in India, I'm not sure if the bureaucrats or government of India would ever permit the situation, even after yesterday's order of government of India. States like Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, and a couple of other states have still kept a total lockdown. So I'm not sure of that, and the part of the answer lies in the next level of infection and rate of infection and all that. So we are up for series of lockdowns and opening up, series of lockdown and opening up. So I think we are hoping against the hope. We can't get away with the social distancing. That's probably going to be new normal, at least for 2 years, until the treatment or the vaccine is come out.
Thank you, Ashokji. I'll not take any more questions because I have a list of questions, but I'll not ask any more questions. I have to continue the next session. But I will again request you to give in a takeaway for everybody. There are around 200 participants at the moment who are watching you. So just a takeaway for everybody, like how they should go ahead with it now.
See, first, keep yourself personally safe, your family safe, your neighbors safe, help each other out, maintain social distancing, hygiene standards, then look out for your employees and your facility. Don't allow yourself to be paralyzed because of this negative situation. I know it can become overpowering or bearing, particularly those who have been locked up in the houses for long and continues to be locked down. So it can have a major impact on our psychology, which is normal. At the same time, keep a watch on your thinking. Stay away from negative news. Don't consume too much negative news. Don't sit in front of TV. Don't read too much newspaper. Don't try to read too much on online or WhatsApp messages and stuff. They're all toxic, according to me. They're toxic to your mind, and if they're toxic to your mind, they have to be toxic to your body. So don't consume too much of negative news around. And the world's media is nothing but negative news all around. And 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 that will help you to be sane. And if you are sane, it will help you to think rationally, think positively, convert this adversity into an opportunity. You are masters of your own business. You are master of your own situation. Therefore, you know best. Uh, the people like who just chatter like me can only give you the pointers. You have to find your real path given your situation, and stay positive, do something. And if you think that you're already losing money in your facility, now this is what I have not said so far. If you are already losing money in your facility, you have lost the season, I would strongly recommend don't be in a hurry to open. Open it later, think through properly, take your people along, talk to your people, and then decide what the next step is and what changes that you will bring, so that your cost, all around cost, not just people cost, is reduced and your service levels are improved and you are considered a safe and hygienic facility.
Thank you, Ashokji. Thank you very much. Every word you speak in matters a lot to everyone. I have around 200 participants at the moment, and I can see in a lot many reactions coming up in form of claps and in thumbs up. Thank you on behalf of all the 200 odd members which are there available at the moment. Thanks for sparing your valuable time and boosting the morale of the industry. All of us have been privileged to have you on this platform, and we have been waiting it for quite a long time. Today and being receiving end of your guidance and support. Thank you once again, Ashokji. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. I was happy to be here. I'm not sure whether I'm motivated or demotivated, but I'm always happy to chat and talk.
Thank you, sir. We will definitely request you once again that before the lockdown is over and the parks are ready to open, we'll ask you again to have a session with us, please.
Anytime, sir. Thank you. Sir.
Thank you, Ashokji. Thank you very much.
Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye.